Hey there guys, Javery here, and I wanted to come at you here with another tutorial inside of Studio One. Today we're going to be taking a look at the chord selector as well as the chord track inside of Studio One here. For those of you that aren't familiar with this is an amazing tool that can take your productions, your songwriting to a whole other level. This is perfect for beginners, perfect for pros. It really streamlines the process of creating some real beautiful dynamic chord progressions. So let's get straight to it. You'll see that I'm inside of Studio One's interface here. The first thing that I'm going to do is come up here to the global track visibility button. I'm going to click that. That's going to give me a drop down. From that drop down, I want to select chords. Once I select chords, you'll see that that opens this area on the timeline. This area is called your chord track now. Once your chord track has been created, you're going to go and select your paint tool. And once you have your paint tool selected, you're going to come back down onto the chord track and just start dropping bars there. Now we'll go back and get our arrow tool. You'll see that by default, that just drops in a C chord on every single one of those. That would be a pretty boring song, so we want to change that up. Well, how do we do that? With your arrow tool, you're going to just double click on any of those, and that's going to open up your chord selector. This is basically the circle of fifths for those of you that are familiar with that. If you're not, don't worry about it. This is going to be an amazing tool for you to use and just let your ears lead the way. So what we want to do once we got this open is come down here to the lower left and select the little speaker button, which is Audition Chords. And you'll see that gives us a tone that now every time we click on one of these chords that are on this wheel, it's going to give us the audition of what that sounds like. So F minor, C minor, G minor, you get the picture. So now the way you use this is you come back up to these bars. Now, whatever bar you have selected here, once you click on the chord selector, it's going to update that chord on the bar with whatever you click corresponding on the chord selector itself. So on this first one, I don't know, let's take a look here. Awesome, C minor 7th. Everything 7th is great. Let's click the second one. Cool, why not? Okay, so now one thing I want to point out is that I can, of course, audition these by clicking on the chord selector itself, but if I go up here to the bars, I can also click there and you'll hear the corresponding chord play. One of the things that I like to do when I'm writing songs using this tool is to kind of rhythmically get an idea of what I might want to do. And I could do that just by clicking on these sort of rhythmically with my mouse or with my trackpad, whatever I'm using. So that might sound something like... Don't love that. This is a perfect example of something. Yeah, that's cool. And you can see right there is some theory to using this, but sometimes it's all about the feels, you know? So, that's what I kind of like to use it for, is to just start getting that songwriting process, that flow going, and see what feels right. Let your ears lead the way, like I said. So once we've got those generated on the chord track, we can go ahead and close this. Now we need an instrument to apply these chords to. So for this example, I'm just going to bring in an Anna 2 synthesizer from Slate. This is actually by Sonic Academy, but it's inside the Slate plugin bundle. And this is what's called a beautiful dread lead. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And before we do, I want to drop the volume down there a little bit, because once we get the chords in here, it's going to hit that pretty hard. Now, one thing that I do want to point out before I go any further is that you'll notice, again, when I click on this and I'm auditioning these chords, by default, it gives you that kind of standard tone. And one of the things that I like to do is I want to hear those chords with the actual instrument that I'm using. So a little trick here is to go over here to your inspector, and where it says chord preview in that drop down menu, you're going to select that and choose whatever instrument you have brought into your session. So in my example here, it's the Anna 2. Now listen to this. You get the picture. That sounds awesome. So once we have all of that created, if I highlight all of my chords that I've created there, my progression, I can left click, drag that down onto my instrument, and you're going to see that that now inputs the MIDI data onto the instrument itself. So now I've got, if I double click here and open up my editor, you can see that in the keyboard roll, it has actually assigned the MIDI data per where those notes fall on the chord structure to the keyboard of the synthesizer of the instrument that you brought in, which is just awesome. I mean, from here, you can change octaves, you can modify the chords, whatever you want to do. But let's go ahead and just take a listen to this. I'm going to set a loop region here, and a quick way to do that is to select all of these clips and just press P. You'll notice that that selects my loop region. Make sure that I have the loop turned on, and let's give this progression a quick listen. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's a good starting place. If I come over here and I wanted to just, let's say, bring in a drum track. Let's turn that down a little bit. You get the picture. Pretty straightforward. Anyway, yeah, that's just a quick introduction in how to use the chord selector and the chord track inside of Studio One to start developing songs, again, that have more dynamic chord progressions, maybe chords that you never even thought about. So yeah, I hope this helps. If you get a chance, take a look at some of my other videos, take a listen, give a listen to some of my songs. My name is Javery, Javery. I'm on SoundCloud. I'm going to be getting more of these songs onto other platforms and uploading more videos here, tutorials, music, all kinds of stuff. So like, subscribe, comment, anything you can do. Let's start creating stuff together. I love working with you guys. I love getting feedback. I love coming up with ideas. Yeah, learning new things and just creating a community where we really can start to build stuff together. So anyway, thanks again for taking time out of your day to watch this, and until next time.